Chapter 12 of Ashtavakra Gita. Janak is expressing his epiphany to Ashtavakra, his guru. King Janak said, prior to meeting you, he's referring to his guru, Ashtavakra, the great enlightened being. King Ashtavakra said, prior to meeting you, I was fed up with just about everything. I was indecisive about what actions to take, because no matter how measured my plans and intentions were, I never knew if the results would be good or bad. This was quite disillusioning. I was also fed up with hearing the words of advice from others, as everyone always thinks their opinion is right, which creates conflict. I was also fed up with the incessant thinking of my mind that was filled with worries and concerns. You have lifted me to the heights of awareness, where my mind is calm, and I am even in the awareness that myself is free. I am even in my awareness that myself is free. That is a beautiful description of Samadhi. Samadhi means evenness, but evenness in what? Not evenness of thinking, but evenness in the awareness that myself is free. Your power of awareness has lifted me out of the mud of discontent, out of the bog of my small individualistic perspective. So he's speaking to his guru, your power of awareness has lifted me out of the mud of discontent. I love that, the mud of discontent, like that stickiness, that sense that there is no way to turn. Your power of awareness has lifted me out of the mud of discontent, out of the bog, also meaning mud or a place where you're stuck, of my small individualistic perspective. This has made my mind clear and detached from all that I was fed up with, so that I will now be able to act with clarity and strength. It's worth going back a little bit just for Josie to hear. I'm going to go back a little to in the text, Josie. We are describing Janak's state, the disciple, or he was a king, but still the disciple of Sage Ashtavakra. He's describing his fed up state. I'm sure you've felt fed up once or twice in your life. I love this. He says, I was fed up with just about everything. I was indecisive about what actions to take, because no matter how measured my plans and intentions were, I never knew if the results would be good or bad. This was quite disillusioning. I was also fed up with hearing the words of advice from others, as everyone always thinks their opinion is right, which creates conflict. I was also fed up with the incessant thinking of my mind that was filled with worries and concerns. You have lifted me to the heights of awareness where my mind is calm, and I am even in the awareness that myself is free. Even in the awareness that myself is free. Your power of awareness has lifted me out of the mud of discontent, out of the bog of my small individualistic perspective. This has made my mind clear and detached from all that I was fed up with, so that I will now be able to act with clarity and strength. I know that when I meditate, I will not be distracted by the movement around me, sounds, the smells. You have opened a door for me that I will never allow to shut. Whenever I feel myself failing or falling, whenever I feel myself falling and failing, I will meditate on the self within and keep the door to peace and highest knowledge open. I now understand how stillness and peace of mind, Samadhi, which you described earlier, remember, as the evenness in the awareness that myself is free. So that is a description of Samadhi. So now I understand that stillness and Samadhi, evenness or being established in the awareness that myself is free, is achieved through meditation. Thoughts are imposed on consciousness, and so consciousness cannot experience freedom from thoughts. But the technique of meditation is to focus on these teachings, which lifts the practicing yogi out of the confines of thought. That is what I have experienced by focusing on your satsang, which resound like a mantra. As soon as I rise out of my thoughts, my consciousness is free, and I know that I am free. I am not limited to my body and thoughts. Being removed from the changes of the body and mind and all the changes of the world, I don't get taken over by joy or sadness. My dear sage, I see that I now live moment to moment with freedom and ease. Previously, I accepted whatever my mind said, and that was my only reality. I tried various lifestyles, thinking I could improve the world of my mind through them. Having become the observer of my mind rather than being in it, and by living in the moment instead of a lifestyle, I am now established in my free self. See, I love that, rather than living a lifestyle, which means an idea of how I should live, a style of living as opposed to living. To decide on a course of action based on rules and disciplines is not the product of wisdom. Wisdom has the element of intuition that comes from expanded awareness and inner clarity. I have reached the point where I thought I had to give up my responsibilities in order to get free and to get clarity of mind. But now that I have known the freedom within, I know that is not needed. I can still tend to my responsibilities, yet remain free through my knowledge of self and the wisdom that shines through this knowledge. By realizing that self is not limited by thought and exists beyond thought, I have been released from the entrapment of thought. This has shown me true freedom. Anyone who realizes their self that is eternal and free, as I have learnt from you, will be blessed. We hear these teachings and we realize our potential, which is to say our true state. What is meditation? Accept. Accept your true state is never bound in thought. So let thinking continue if it must, or until it does. But you stay with awareness. And that awareness is myself is ever free. It takes time to accept that truly and deeply. Deeply meaning more than just an idea, more than just a teaching. And that is the value of meditation. Deep, deep acceptance or realization. I am the self, ever free. And watch the resistance against that. The resistance does not confine you, does not confine the ever free self, you. And that is why it was described that the satsang, the teachings, becomes like a mantra. And we take the mantra, I am pure, free, forever present. And let that reverberate in our hearts, in our guts, in our minds, that the senses be drenched in this knowledge and thereby relax their outward search, their endless hunger, their restlessness, and let that saturation of the mantra, Amaram Ham, Madhuram Ham, let it just relax that outward struggle, the outward search to control or to find something, security or love through our lifestyle as opposed to our life. Life is free. Life is eternal. Life is blissful. And conflicts arise because one does not know how to bring this knowledge into their hearts. But we can set an example, all of you established meditators now. Be the example of how meditation settles the heart to be at peace in the knowledge self is ever free. Because the self that is free is indestructible, ever present, does not become something because of thinking, therefore it is pure. Amaram, Madhuram, Amaram, Madhuram.